Hey everybody, Mimz here. I'm just going to do a quick review for you on American Crime Story Season 3, Impeachment. So, American Crime Story Impeachment is about the impeachment of the 42nd President of the United States, William Jefferson Clinton. Why was he impeached? People are still wondering to this day. Trust me. Anyways, the main characters in this is Monica Lewinsky, Linda Tripp, and Paula Jones. So Monica Lewinsky is played by Beanie Feldstein. Linda Tripp is played by the incomparable Sarah Paulson. And of course we got Paula Jones, played by Annalee Ashford. All these women did a tremendous job at bringing out the essence of the people that went through all this in the late 1990s. If you want to know why impeachment is such a big word that's thrown around in the media now, or why it's such a big deal these days, well, the late 1990s is a great place to start, and watching American Crime Story Impeachment would be the place to go. Poor Monica Lewinsky, man, she was dragged through the mud for having an affair with the most powerful man in the free world. She was just a 23-year-old intern who fell in love with her boss. Imagine that. You fall in love with someone that's so much more powerful than you, and once she becomes a problem, she's whisked away right off to the Pentagon. The same place where Linda Tripp was whisked away off to when the White House had had enough of her. Unfortunately for Monica, though, Linda Tripp is not there to be her friend. Linda Tripp is there because she wants a book deal. Linda Tripp's literary agent says, hey, if you want a book deal so bad, you got to get this girl to confess. Not only just confess everything, but confess it on tape. That's right, Linda Tripp was going to record, and she did record, all the phone conversations she had with Monica Lewinsky about all of her adventures with Bill Clinton. And by adventures, I mean sexual encounters. What a show, man. I mean, it gets right into the trenches. It shows you the fear that Monica Lewinsky had when she was approached by agents from the office of the independent counsel of Ken Starr. It shows you the feelings that Linda Tripp went through when the media found out who she is and what she did to Monica, and how Linda Tripp's appearance was torn apart in the media. And Paula Jones, she was kind of the catalyst that got the whole impeachment thing started, because in the mid-90s she came forward and said Bill Clinton had showed her his junk and had asked her to kiss said junk.
I'll just put it this way, that he presented himself to me in a very unprofessional manner, and I would call it sexual harassment. And
under pressure from her husband, Paula Jones came forth, made a public statement about it, got some lawyers, and then she got involved with some other groups that did not have her best interests in mind, and poor Paula Jones was dragged through the mud too, just like Monica was. If there's a central theme to this story, it's number one, the power of the internet. So back in the late 90s, a lot of people were still using America Online. Nowadays, you can go on the internet and be an idiot like me and post a video like this about a show you just watched. But back in the mid to late 1990s, the internet was still developing. And for the first time in history, in regards to the Monica Lewinsky scandal, the internet usurped conventional media. There was this guy named Matt Drudge, who's played brilliantly by Billy Eichner from American Horror Story. And Matt Drudge has this website called the Drudge Report. And the Drudge Report broke the story about Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton's affair. And before long, the Office of Independent Counsel was all over it. I mean, they were looking for things for years to incriminate Bill Clinton, to remove him from office, and now they had it. They had Bill Clinton lying about an affair he had with an intern. And Monica Lewinsky was forced to cooperate. And Beanie Feldstein does a wonderful job of putting you in the place of Monica Lewinsky, just being surrounded by all these strange men FBI agents who were basically manhandling her into cooperating. And not only did she have to cooperate with them, but she also had to go and tell her story in front of a grand jury. So time and time and time again, because Linda Tripp, somebody Monica thought she could trust, Linda Tripp's betrayal led her to being dragged through the mud, not just by everybody online those days, but the entire media. Her weight, her appearance, every word she said was just analyzed and judged. Monica Lewinsky is indeed patient zero of online bullying. But I would also say the same for Linda Tripp and Paula Jones. We see in the show that Paula Jones gets a nose job because people keep commenting about her nose. Of all things, this is the woman that was victimized, but the biggest thing people were concerned about was her southern accent, because she sounded kind of ditzy, according to some people, and her nose. Alright, and then we got Linda Tripp. Even though what she did to Monica Lewinsky was a pretty vile thing, and I would not do that to any of my friends ever, and nobody should ever do that to any of their friends. Linda Tripp, she still got dragged through the mud as well for her appearance. She got it so bad that she ended up getting plastic surgery to alter her appearance because she said, and I quote, "I did not realize how ugly I was until I saw myself on TV." Now, this story is just incredible. If you're a Zoomer or a millennial and you really don't remember or have no memories of the Bill Clinton years in the White House, I think American Crime Story Impeachment is for you. It's definitely a show you should watch because it tells the story of three women who not only went through the media firestorm where they were just basically analyzed and deconstructed from head to toe in regards to their appearance and every word that came out of their mouths, but it also tells the story of how powerful the chief executive of the United States is, how powerful the government is, and how they can really mess your life up if you get entangled with the wrong people. I think this story is important in present time because we have the Me Too movement, we have social media. There are so many ways for victims to speak out, and that's a terrific thing. Unfortunately, 20 some odd years ago, a lot of women were basically slut shamed, and this is a very regrettable time in US history. And I was a kid when all this was happening, back when Bill Clinton was getting impeached, so I wasn't paying attention to the news that often. But my God, just watching every episode, 10 episodes by the way, so it's worth the 10-hour watch. You can binge it in one day. You fucking know you can. But just watching all these women either getting forced to tell stories that they don't feel comfortable telling, or being confronted by strangers and having to tell strangers the most intimate details about their sex lives. My God, the intrusion of privacy was devastating enough, but then having your whole person being torn down by strangers who you've never even met, my God, it's a very powerful story. It's a powerful story that resonates today because it's a reflection on us as a society about how victims were treated then and how they're treated today. Now, am I saying Monica Lewinsky is a victim? In some ways, she was. Yes, she was a consenting adult when she did have an affair with the President of the United States. But what she did not consent to was to having her whole personal being be deconstructed by people who didn't even know her. Paula Jones didn't ask for this. Turns out her husband wanted some fucking money. And that's why she came forward to tell this story about Bill Clinton showing her his ding-dong and wanting her to kiss it. But instead of Paula Jones being heard, she was slut-shamed. People said, yeah, I bet you kissed it all right. Basically, people were insinuating that she was a slut. And that's totally unfair. And don't even get me started on Juanita Broderick. This poor lady, she didn't want any of this. She didn't want any media attention. She didn't want FBI agents coming to her door. She didn't want to testify. So she said in a statement, nope, never had anything to do with Bill Clinton. Nope, never heard of him. Who's he? He's the president? Okay, yeah, bye. And then eventually FBI agents pressed her, no, we heard something happened to you. Please tell us everything. And then she does tell them everything. It's laid to bear that she was violently accosted in a hotel room in the 1970s when Bill Clinton was the governor of Arkansas. And I'm saying all this allegedly took place because I'm not sure if it was ever proven in a court of law. But still, my God, poor Juanita Broderick, she was literally forced by FBI agents to tell her story just for Ken Starr to say, put it as a footnote in the full report. So if anybody ever wonders why Bill Clinton was impeached but why he was not found guilty during trial, it's because, one, presidents can't have personal lives. There was no abuse of power here. But two, we also see that the Office of Independent Counsel was really on a witch hunt, and they went for the juiciest bits, which were the bits of Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton when they had a violent assault case on another person right there in front of them, and they made it a footnote. Now, thankfully, Juanita Broderick did get to tell her story, and she still does until this very day. Monica Lewinsky, even though she went through hell, she was able to reconstruct her life after the presidency of Bill Clinton was over in 2001. Actually, Monica Lewinsky went on to be a co-executive producer of American Crime Story Impeachment. So kudos to her, man. She is a badass. If anything, I see her as a feminist icon because she had her life deconstructed, not just by the media, but by the internet and by Matt Drudge. And Matt Drudge went from a nobody to a somebody overnight, and it just shows you how powerful the internet was. Nobody knew at the time, but we know. Oh, we know now. Thank you, PewDiePie. Seriously, no, I really don't have a problem with PewDiePie. But anyways, American Crime Story. And my heart broke for Linda Tripp too, to be honest with you. Linda Tripp did pass away a couple of years ago. Let her rest in peace. But while she was still alive, and because she was mocked so horribly in the media, she had plastic surgery done on herself just so she could get away from that image of herself. My God. My God. Thank God that we have come along as a society where people are able to be heard and not be judged. Do I think that the cancel culture we're currently in is a bit too extreme? Absolutely. People should be innocent until proven guilty. But my God, when people have something to say, especially like Juanita Broderick, they should be listened to instead of ridiculed or put as a footnote in the annals of history. Well, Ken Starr ended up with a report, and he ended up getting acquittal for Bill Clinton. So Bill Clinton, while he was the second president to ever be impeached, he also was found not guilty. So he came out unscathed here. What the show really tries to bring across to you is that the women of the story ended up being the victims in all this. Linda Tripp lost her job when Bill Clinton administration was coming to an end. Monica Lewinsky, her name was thrown into the ground, into the mud. Juanita Broderick, footnote, like I said. And of course, Paula Jones, people had used her and abused her and just had flung her back and forth. She ended up settling for $850,000 with Bill Clinton, but most of that money went to pay her lawyers, her consultants, and her nose job. And she ended up having to do a spread in Penthouse magazine anyways, just to make money because she couldn't get a regular job. This story is sad, but I'm glad it's being told. And I'm glad it's being told by one of the women who lived through it, Monica herself. Again, I gotta commend Beanie Feldstein on portraying Monica, the incomparable Sarah Paulson, as playing Linda Tripp. I didn't even know it was Sarah Paulson until I heard her speak, and I'm like, oh my God, that's Sarah Paulson! And of course, we had Annalee Ashford play Paula Jones, Clive Owen played Bill Clinton, Eddie Falco played Hillary Clinton. There were so many people who lined up and did a home run with this show. If I gave it a rating or if I gave it a grade, I would say it's a B+, on a grading scale. The only reason I give it a B+ is because I feel like the plot kind of, gets a little wobbly in some places, and I feel like there's more stuff they could have went into that they didn't go into. If there's a standout moment for me in the entire miniseries, it's the moment where Hillary Clinton comes through as an actual human being through the performance of Eddie Falco, where Hillary Clinton is vulnerable. Bill Clinton has made her feel like a fool. Bill Clinton has betrayed his wife, and she's there alone, standing, crying, all alone on a beach, almost like she's just out on a land all by herself, and she doesn't know what to do next. If this show would have ran when Hillary was running for president, I'm not saying it would have won her any more votes, but I am saying it might have made a little bit of a difference, because at least Eddie Falco humanized her a bit. I literally sympathized with Hillary. Brilliant job all the way around. Ryan Murphy did it again. Another home run with American Crime Story, Season 3, Impeachment. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. Oh yeah, one last thing. If I were going to change anything, I would change the ending, because it kind of feels like it just ended. It ended with Monica Lewinsky having a panic attack saying, yeah, I'll be alright. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, because she was alright, and she's doing alright now. So, great job for awesome season for Ryan Murphy. Kudos to Monica Lewinsky for being co-executive producer on this. And to all the actors, you should all get nominated for Best Supporting Actors, because my God, what an ensemble they put together here. And like I said, they struck a home run. Alright everybody, that's my review for American Crime Story Season 3. I'm Mimz, and I'm interested, what do you have to say about it? Sound off below. Peace.
Make it move, make it groove.